The Shroud of Turin, Sabotaging the Evidence. Evidence that Jesus existed is found on the Shroud of Turin. The scientific community has been working hard to piece the puzzle together as to how the shroud came to be and how it has lasted the test of time. They have been able to help answer some of the questions, but not all of it. There are still those that strongly oppose its existence and significance. This article will talk about the different ways skeptics have tried to sabotage this evidence. When Jesus lived, he was able to recruit a few followers that would help him spread his message of love and belief in the Holy Father. These people became his early apostles, and slowly they too tried to spread the same message to other people. Some people listened and followed, while others opposed him and even tried to sabotage him. The Shroud of Turin is evidence to the power that he had, and still has. Even though we can no longer physically see him, it attests that he did in fact live amongst the people. Like critics and non-believers of the past, current skeptics refuse to acknowledge the authenticity of its existence, and will do anything to denounce not only the shroud, but also his time here. In the past, they tried to sabotage his efforts by crucifying him. But, in the present, how are they sabotaging him? Through a letter. When the shroud was discovered, it was immediately received with skepticism. One reputed letter that was supposedly believed to be written by a Bishop Pierre Darcy detailed stuff like the cloth was a fake and how he knew who forged or made the shroud. This letter was to prove that the shroud was a fake. There are several things that have holes in this so-called reputed letter. The letter was never signed or dated. It was never proven to be in the handwriting of the bishop that had apparently wrote the letter. The artist or forger of the shroud is never named, and the official transcript cannot be found. The letter or copies of the letter have never been proven to be genuine. No proof was given to show that the letter was shown to the Pope at the time. In fact, Pope Clement VII allowed the shroud to be displayed to the public during this whole time. Carbon-14 testing. This is a form of testing used by scientists to determine the age of a specific object. It is based on a number of assumptions. Throughout history, the rate of decay has always been the same. The amount of carbon-14 in the air has always been the same, and the geologic column is correct, always correct. The results that came back from the testing showed that the cloth was from the period 1260 to 1390 AD. The results should have shown that the cloth was from the period around 26 AD. When testing on the shroud was done, it was discovered that the labs had violated 14 scientific protocols. These labs also consulted one another, which should not have been done, because they would potentially affect the test results. Samples of the shroud were taken with video supervision, but when testing was done, there were no video cameras allowed. No one really knows what happened in the room because they never told anyone. What they did find out was that the original cloth was substituted. At the time, supervision of the carbon-14 tests of the shroud was assigned to Dr. Michael Tite. Reports later showed that Dr. Tite had written a letter to the director of radiocarbon lab from the University of Lyon, Jacques Avan. In the letter, he requested that a similar cloth to the shroud be located and used for testing. Dr. Tite denied writing the letter until the letter was published, so he had no choice but to come forward and admit to this act. It's amazing how man has tried to hide the truth, or at least admit to it, by trying to sabotage the efforts of a sacred man during his life and now his death. The Shroud of Turin is a symbol of the criticism that Jesus received, but like his message, this cloth has been able to withstand the test of time, and it holds the truth we are all looking for in our lives.